everyone, welcome to Aftermath TV. The whole crew is back with us again. Starting to my left, Mr. Jimmy Corderas. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing great. Summer's been wonderful so far.
I know. And then across the pond, we have Nug.
Yes, and I went to a drive-in movie this weekend.
How was it?
It was the best. It was so much fun. They played the old 1950s commercials for intermission and stuff during it.
Oh,
It was so fun.
That sounds very good.
Anthony, I guess you're doing well because I can't even tell you had a black eye last week.
Yes, it did heal, and then the magic of makeup.
Oh.
And I was at an off-grid cabin this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was nice too. Everyone did nice stuff. We did.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, well, now we got to talk. Why are you pointing at me?
What'd you do?
What'd you do?
I hung out with my dog. No surprise there.
She also did a nice thing.
We all
That's
had a nice long
another
weekend.
nice time.
All right, guys, let's get back into the WWE world. Ronda Rousey made her in-ring debut on Monday Night Raw, and I don't know what you guys think, but I know that I would not want to be Alicia Fox.
Well, I think Alicia Fox today doesn't want to be Alicia Fox. That was very intense, very physical. Yeah, I mean, like, she's very impressive, but at the same time, she's very wince-inducing. I think Ronda, in my opinion, in the world of sports entertainment, needs to just step back, slow it down a touch. It's not MMA. You don't have to go full speed. You know, in MMA, even in MMA, and you can attest to this because you've done that kind of stuff, there's gears. You got to know when to slow it down, when to pull it back, when to go full speed, when not to. I think she is still in the process of feeling that out.
And not only that, but Alicia Fox has been there 10 years. She's a veteran of the WWE.
12.
This is her very first time in the main event ever in her career. Probably her last time in the main event. It was not a good showing for Alicia Fox last night. There was a suplex where she landed on her side. She looked scared to be in the ring. She's getting tossed around like a rag doll. I don't think she wants to be in there with Ronda Rousey. 10, 12 years she's been there. She's never fought anybody like Ronda Rousey, and I don't think she ever wants to do that again.
Now, what's that say, though, Nug, about fighting Ronda?
You got to watch out. I mean, she's new, but she is very good at doing the job of being a wrestler instead of a MMA fighter, but she's still dangerous. It's still a dangerous woman, the baddest woman on the planet. You got to watch out.
Now, Anthony, you were saying something really interesting prior to the show, that mentally she understands that she's in WWE now, but physically it's going to take a little bit more of an adjustment on her end.
Yeah, so there's 3 levels of okay, I'll explain in a second. So now in judo, you're trained to throw someone when they're resisting. And then there's neutral. Like if you're training with someone, they're just standing there, they're not resisting, or they're not helping. In sports entertainment, you also help a little bit. So she has to deprogram herself from throwing people with resistance to neutral, and then with people assisting. I went through that. I over-rotated everybody and threw them on their face, which was not safe, and I had to learn and take it down and tone it down. And it takes repetitions, and she's done so many hundreds of thousands of repetitions of judo techniques, and she's just getting into wrestling, and she's on TV pretty early.
Yeah.
She should be, you know, in an ideal world, in developmental for a year to get those reps in there.
Do you guys think she needs more ring time before taking on Alexa at SummerSlam?
She's not going to get it. She takes on Alicia in
Right,
like 2
no,
weeks.
she's not. But what, like, if she had the option right now, would you guys give her that time?
100%, and I know she's going on the road and doing all the shows on the weekends, which is perfect for her. Get her as much time as she possibly can to get in there with Alexa. You might be Ronda Rousey, and you might be stronger and bigger than Alexa Bliss, but Alexa's been there a while, and she's kind of smart. She knows what she's doing.
If I was Ronda Rousey, what I would consider doing is going down to the Performance Center in Orlando and work on some of that stuff. Work on what Anthony was talking about, work, like Nug said, and on the weekends, you know, tour with the rest of the crew and work in front of live crowds and live events, because you can practice all you want at the Performance Center to hone your craft, but unless you do it in front of a live audience to get that feedback as well, you need a little bit of both.
Yeah, you know what? And some of I like the way she did the left-handed Tayatoshi type thing. I did that myself at that throw. When I was in OVW, I was this character Boris, and I was, you know, a tough guy, and I was destroying everybody. And it was very entertaining for the audience to see this different thing come out and just this MMA killer guy. But it was affecting me learning how to work properly and tell stories and take you through this gamut of emotions and do everything we do in the ring. Anybody can put a beating on anybody. That's not learning to wrestle. So that's what we're expecting to see. That's probably what we're going to see. And then over time, when she gets in the ring with veterans, she'll learn how to work a little bit. But in the meantime, destroy away.
Well, that's my question for you guys next. Is we all know that she's one of the baddest women, if not the baddest woman on television right now. But does she have the potential to be one of the best technical superstars in WWE?
She does. I think she's one of the best technical superstars now. She knows how to do a lot of things and how to do them properly. It's just a matter of how to do them properly for a WWE ring that we're waiting to see. And if SummerSlam's her time, I know a lot of people are worried, like, who's going to take on Ronda Rousey if she's the champion? Everybody. Everybody should have a shot against Ronda Rousey.
Right.
Charlotte and Becky and Asuka and Bayley and Sasha. Everybody should get a shot.
Yeah, it's like what Nug said, pretty much, where she knows how to do. There's one thing knowing how to perform moves and knowing how to, apply holds and moves, but the secret is when to apply them at certain times to tell that story you want to tell and use it in a psychology way to tell that story. You know?
Yeah, it's what takes place in between the moves that really, a move is a move. You can take it out and switch it and whatever, put it in a different move. It's really everything else that takes place in between the moves. She's going to learn. I mean, again, where she's going to beat people up for a while and hopefully she'll learn on the fly.
She's already got star written all over her.
I'm a big
And
Ronda
that's the thing,
fan.
comfortable in front of a live audience, huge asset, the ability to talk, good looking, athletic, she's smart, she's learning very fast. She has all the attributes in place, she just needs experience.
That, and I always find it super entertaining watching her. Like, I'm always excited to see what she's going to do next, and I actually kind of like the element of power on her.
Yeah,
I think it's very impressive.
You feel that passion
Yes.
coming out.
Pound for pound, super strong. Now, even if she learns how to do a move safely, it's even in between the moves, when she grabbed her, she just snatched her.
Yeah.
And she wasn't trained specifically to how to snatch someone. She's just doing that in the rough way. And judo, you have to have very heavy hands. Everything's very hand-oriented, a lot of gripping. So she's going to have really heavy hands for a while until that day comes where she can go,
Right.
ah, okay, there.
Well, like we just said, she'll be taking on Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam, which
kill
is
her.
normally what Nia Jax would be doing, but Nia Jax is out with what everyone thinks is an injury because she posted, I believe, to her Instagram story that she's rehabbing. Does this hurt her right now, apparently not going into SummerSlam?
I think it's better for her
I agree.
because she wasn't going to be a focal point or a spotlight at SummerSlam, so this way she can focus more on the Evolution pay-per-view. Is that what it's called?
Get well now and be ready for that big event in October, the all-women's event. Nobody wants to miss that. There is no women's wrestler on the roster that does not want to be a part of that show.
Yeah, and Jimmy said it right. It's all about spotlight. So right now it was going to be about Ronda anyway. Let that happen. Let people kind of get used to it. And to be honest, it wasn't really a debut anyway. She's been on pay-per-views and stuff, and it's the same audience.
Yeah.
It was her first time on this specific show, but it wasn't really a true debut, I think. But and let that kind of settle down. When
Right.
the dust settles. And at the end of the day,
And then come out.
and then she
And
can
come out ready to
yeah.
go.
Captain Cliche is right on top of things.
I know from you guys on previous shows you don't necessarily love the triple threat, but we are going to see a triple threat match between Charlotte, Carmella, and Becky now. What do you guys think? I'm not the biggest fan because now I think Becky's not going to win. I think Charlotte's going to win, and I really wanted this for Becky just
Yeah.
because I'm like, she deserves it.
Well, Becky did a really great job on the microphone last week saying, I fought for everything. I fought and fought and fought. And then Charlotte shows up and gets a title shot. Like, Charlotte showed up, got a match, won it, and got a title shot. She's having things handed to her while Becky's working for everything. I can see this triple threat not having Becky win it, but having Becky take umbrage with Charlotte winning it and turning on Charlotte, one of her best friends.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to also accept that this is Charlotte and she's a former champion. You know, we're going to be one of the greatest in history. And that's what happens. Yeah, but the Yankees don't play the Red Sox and the Blue Jays jump in. It just doesn't work.
No, as trying to be the guy with the glass half full here, I will look at it this way. It is telling a more unique story here, and also the match quality with Charlotte Flair and Becky in the match as opposed to it just being Becky and Carmella, who I'm not been impressed with lately. The match quality will be better.
Yeah.
I hate to just even bring this up because I know your guys' reaction, but do we expect Ellsworth to come out?
Nope.
And stir some havoc up in there?
No, and if he does show up, he should be double fired.
Double fired.
You heard me. It's a
All
thing.
right.
Look it up.
I hope he shows up and gets a beating. I like to see him get beaten up.
All right.
He's a nice guy, But it's just something funny about him getting beaten up.
Well, talking about beating up, there's two guys that we're going to talk about after the break that probably do want to beat each other up, The Miz and Daniel Bryan.
Ooh.
Stay where you are, everybody.
Heard his challenge, seen your questions, and my answer is no, no, no. I'm in the prime of my career. I have a gorgeous wife, beautiful daughter, a hit docuseries Ms. and Mrs. on the USA Network, and not only that, SmackDown Live, I'm the most must-see superstar on that program. I'm carrying Tuesday nights. And you think that just because Daniel Bryan challenges me at SummerSlam, a huge event like SummerSlam, I'm going to accept that challenge? No, I deserve more. I'm an elite level of talent. Any show that I'm on, I make it A-list, whether it's Raw, SmackDown, any pay-per-view. I make it must-see. And I deserve better than a match with Daniel Bryan. So the answer is no.
Ooh. Right? I feel the tension.
My.
But first of all, no one can cut a promo better than The Miz. I mean, on TV, on Instagram, he's doing it everywhere.
He's amazing. And you know what? As someone who was there when he first entered the WWE from that tough enough competition and seeing almost to a man, we all thought, this kid's not going to make it. This guy does not have a future in this business. And to see that today, amazing. It's just amazing where he was and what he's become.
I love that he said no. What's it for? If he were to fight Daniel Bryan, what would The Miz get out of it? A victory? The Miz is beyond victories. He's a star. He carries Tuesday nights, just like he said. He's got a reality docuseries, not a reality show. He's got a wife and kid. He's in the prime, like he said. What would he get? What's the benefit? Why should he do this? He doesn't have to do this.
It's honor.
Anthony, I saw that smile. Like, Anthony's got something smart to say.
Yeah, okay, you have a lot of things going on. That doesn't mean it's okay to be a coward. And just because you can deliver it and spice it up and look at I'm The Miz and I get serious in my promos now, and then I get angry in my promos now. You're still a coward. Fight. You're the champion. You just because you coined the term must see, must see, must see. That's not a real thing. You just made that up. You're not must-see. That's not. I don't need to see you.
Well, must-see tonight on SmackDown Live will be what Miz does to counter-offer this entire situation. What do you guys think he'll do?
He has to make it worthwhile for him himself to actually accept this match. So I'm kind of thinking, he brought it up last week that Daniel Bryan still hasn't signed his contract, which is expiring very soon. Maybe either you sign a contract and I'll face you at SummerSlam, or I will face you at SummerSlam, and if I beat you, you won't sign any contract, you're gone.
You retire. If The Miz
From the
beats
WWE.
Daniel Bryan retires.
No,
if he's the number
too much
one
on the line. That stresses me out just thinking about it.
See?
Loser leaves town. Yeah, hey, I mean, I wish they focused a little bit more on contendership. Then he couldn't have you can't just say no. There has to be obviously.
Yeah, if it was #1 contendership or something, sure.
Yeah.
We have to talk now about the obligations that a champion has. Obviously, Brock pushed the obligations really far because he doesn't defend it as much. But now, anyway, just
Guys, serious question for you.
Okay. Serious. Ooh.
Has this rivalry become too personal, or are they just that good at acting?
No, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It is absolutely perfect.
I agree.
Exactly as personal as it needs to be. There's a little bit of truth in it. There's a little bit of exaggeration in it. It's perfect.
Yeah, and there is legitimate personality conflicts. Daniel Bryan is humble. He's a minimalist. He's a vegetarian. He's just
he's old school.
Miz is just out there. He's a show off, and he's not humble.
DB is old school, and Miz comes from that new school where braggadocious is cool.
Miz is the star of a reality show. Daniel Bryan is, docuseries.
Yeah, okay.
And Daniel Bryan is like third banana on a reality series.
He doesn't even want to be on it, though. And he just does it because his wife's on it. And
I'm fans of both of them, and with you guys, just like you guys, I'm a fan of this entire situation, and it's making me really want to watch tonight's episode.
I want to see their children at about 12 years old. Let's interview their children at 12. One's going to be from another dimension, and one's going to be very down to earth. You guys figure out who that be.
Guys, let's kind of shift gears to Matt Hardy right now. He's kind of sending out some cryptic tweets that people are thinking it's hinting towards retirement. We do know that his pelvic bone and his lower back are now fusing together, which actually hurts me to even say. Like, that's got to be insane. And Anthony, like, you know, you used to be a superstar. So How much does this, you always are a superstar, that's my fault. How much does this weigh on someone? I mean, we saw the Hardy Boys do some insane things. I mean, they revolutionized tag team wrestling, right? So
yeah, they've done some very extreme stuff to their bodies. In between your vertebrae, you have the discs and they're shock absorbers. And there's just so much shock they can take and wear and tear. For the average sports entertainer, you know, your body's going to get beaten up. These guys, they've been doing it from very young,
right,
and very extreme, and for a very long period of time. I actually have a very similar problem. I'm not at the fusing part yet, but with my lower back sits in the cradle of your pelvis. Yeah, it's a tough spot.
I mean, you definitely, right, Nug, I heard you say you definitely draw the line at pelvic bone and lower back
that's when
fusing.
I decide, when my back and pelvis are fusing together, that's when I stop doing whatever is making that happen.
Shawn Michaels had his lower back fused somewhere in the lumbar region, and he came back and wrestled. It's just what happens is, you know, you have all these vertebrae, I don't know what it is, 12, something, 19 or whatever it is, and they all kind of turn. They should be a little bit evenly. So when you fuse something, the disc below and above have to take on extra work to rotate and stuff. So it's possible you can come back and you can still wrestle. Unless, who knows, maybe he's just in so much pain, he can't even, you know, entertain the idea of wrestling after this. But he has surgery. He might be able to kind of check it out and say, oh, I feel pretty good. Maybe I can do this
But
more.
in Matt Hardy's case, and this goes back to many years ago that I witnessed it myself personally, is that he's always had a problem with his hip.
Yes.
And everybody looks at it and they think it's his leg. If you watch how he moves now, everybody says, there's a problem with Matt Hardy's leg. No, it's in his hip. And he's always had that problem. Not always, but he's had it for a long, long time. So I don't know if that plays into what's happening here, and I don't know if it's something that surgery could correct. Sometimes it can, and sometimes it can't.
If he does end up retiring, what will his legacy be like?
His legacy is the toll. His legacy is the damage that he did to his body over his career entertaining the fans. He did so many crazy things. That is his legacy. But the toll it takes and why he might have to retire, that's the legacy.
Yeah, so he was beaten up a long time ago and still wrestled for, like, it feels like 15 years, all past what he should have. So it's that durability, and it's not even durability because he was injured. Yeah. It was like spit on it, put some duct tape, and keep going. And he's that guy. He's a tough guy.
His legacy, I think, will be, at first, everybody obviously automatically ties him to his brother, Jeff Hardy. You know, they started off very young, two young bucks out there doing their thing, and then they became Team Extreme, and then they branched off, and Matt Hardy was able to evolve his character over the years from Matt Hardy version 1.
Yeah, V1, man.
V1, which was one of my favorites, to the Woken Matt Hardy. So I think his legacy will be partly...
His perfect teeth.
Yes.
All right, well, I definitely hope we don't stop the delete chants because I like those ones.
Those are cool.
All right, guys, another 3 count coming your way after the break. What better way to welcome you all back to Aftermath TV than with a 3 count with the legit boss? All right, we welcome Sasha Banks to 3 count. I'm gonna test your like a boss skills here. I'm gonna ask you 3 quick questions and you answer them the best you can, okay? What is your favorite show to watch on the WWE Network?
Oh, man. Oh, that's hard. There's shows, or there's like old shows, like old SmackDowns and old ECWs, so just anything of wrestling, I guess. That's what the network's for. I don't just have one. I can't binge on one. There's so much to see.
It's honestly a great answer, don't worry. What inspired you to become a wrestler?
I don't know. I just remember instantly watching it and there was just something in my heart. I just knew this was it. I don't know. God told me to be a wrestler. God put it in my life for a reason. I was born to do this, and this is what I was made to do.
What is your favorite match of your career so far and why?
Myself versus Bailey at NXT Brooklyn. Obviously. The fans, the build-up, who I was in the ring with, everything just felt right about that match.
All right. All right.
So Sasha's kind of been shedding some light on a possible women's tag team division and her partner possibly being Bailey. I mean, they have a lot of history. What do you guys think if, this were to happen, them competing with each other?
I prefer them facing each other because she referenced that match at NXT TakeOver versus Bayley in Brooklyn a few years ago, which was incredible. And if they could recreate that magic again, that's what I want to see, not them as a tag team.
When that match happened, they were both super hot. Everybody loved Sasha Banks. Everybody loved Bayley. This match had to happen. It was a very personal rivalry, and the fans were really split. Lately, they've been duds. And there's nothing going on with them.
Tell us how you really feel,
There's
Nug.
been nothing going on with them. And this rivalry of their friends, are they going to not be friends? It's been going on for so long that nobody cares anymore. Now that they're a tag team and having decent matches, excusing the loss last night on Raw, people care about them again. It's time to care about them and time to put a tag team title on the women's division.
And it's very smart strategically because if there's going to be a birth of a tag team division, the first people there that establish themselves as an actual team, a unified, jellified team, will get the lion's share of the success. So she's smart.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Guys, Ask Aftermath. Thanks, everyone, for sending in your questions. The first one that we're going to start off with is the Evolution pay-per-view is coming up. Will we see an all-women's broadcast team and referee during that pay-per-view?
Yes, and yes, we should.
Yes, both. Yes to both. They absolutely should.
I mean, I wouldn't want to exclude men as a rule, but it would be quite fitting.
Why not? Why
Yeah,
not?
you guys have my vote too. My vote too for all women. Next question is, since there's kind of drama now between Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, if Paul Heyman decides to ditch Brock Lesnar, who would he represent?
Ooh, obviously the natural selection would be maybe a Ronda Rousey because she could benefit the most from having someone of Paul's verbal ability to speak for her. But
I like that answer.
But you know what? Yeah, and it also fits in with the women's movement too. I think that would be perfect.
He's losing a beast. It's time for Paul Heyman to go down to NXT and pick up a freak of nature like Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan with Paul Heyman at his side could steamroll the entire WWE.
I like that too. Kind of, yeah, start that career. I like it.
There was a lot of people actually. So Rezar from Authors of Pain.
They can both use him.
Yeah, okay. Titus O'Neil is big. I didn't realize how big Rezar was till he manhandled Titus O'Neil. That's fairly impressive. But they're not really known to be on the mic. Someone like Ronda, who's going to be a big star, I think she should kind of, learn how to swim by being thrown in the pool.
But she kind of has Kurt Angle too, no? Like she kind of has Kurt Angle to lean back on.
A little bit.
Yeah, but I think she should be forced to evolve quickly if she's going to be the girl that is going to be given the ball, right? But it doesn't always have to. Okay, if you're looking for someone that can't speak, Bobby Lashley's right there.
Ooh.
But if you're looking for someone that you want to have some comedic interaction with, then maybe somebody like Kevin Owens, who I think is incredible on the mic. I think they can feed off each other like the way Jericho and Kevin Owens did when they were little buddies.
Quickly, guys, last topic of the show before we have to go. All I'm going to say is Kane for mayor. Who's with me?
Congratulations. Well done.
One of my favorite people. One of my favorite people. Congratulations. Knox County, you got a smart mayor. This guy is one of the smartest people I know.
Yeah, it's the first time I've really cared about American politics.
Well, it's funny because all of a sudden, we're bombarded with all this negativity on the news, and all of a sudden, no, there's a good guy that made it. So a good guy can make it.
Not only that, looks good for the whole sports entertainment
It absolutely does.
All right, we have a really exciting episode of SmackDown Live coming up next. We always run out of time, but it's been so nice. Till next week, guys.
It's always nice.
Next Tuesday, right? Yeah.
Eggshell, what's it called?